How are you doing? This is Alex and welcome to Valet Stories. This week we're going to be speaking about the 5 worst hires that we've ever done in our company's history. Now, of course, we try to do everything as much as possible. We order MBR reports, we order criminal background reports, MVR is also the driving report, and they tell us to pull credit reports, but we're not going to do that because some people make mistakes with credit, and we're not going to sit there and penalize them about it. But we definitely do look at criminal and driving history. We also put them through orientation, and then in addition to that, we also put them in a driving test to see overall if they're a good fit with the company. We tell them when we train with you, you are on probation. You are only, basically for the first 2 weeks, we're going to see if you have what it takes to be a valet out in the field. That should give us enough time to determine if you're going to see mistakes, how you show up to work on time, what you look like, what your overall appearance. So these are the things that we do to see if basically you're a good fit with us, a good fit with the restaurants, and good fit with the coworkers. Now, on this first person that we hired, he was in training. He was training with our manager, Brian, at the time, and they were working, I think there were 7 valets working, and he was just shadowing what was going on. So a BMW 7 Series pulled up, and a guy was smoking marijuana. And he's like, let me finish this. And he was like, and he took a big inhale, and he told the valet, if you want to hit this, you can. And the new trainee grabbed it, smoked it, and then sat in a car. I wasn't there, but this is what Brian, our manager, tells us. And he's like, Alex, you will not believe what this guy did. He just smoked weed in front of me because a customer asked him, sarcastically, he could hit that if he wanted to. And we were at this really strange point of, do we fire this person immediately now? Or do we sit there and say, was he nervous? He feels he was nervous, but at the same time, if the person tells you, hey, go jump off the bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge? This guy smoked weed behind another guy on top of that. So he had to go. It was back and forth, but I don't think this guy made good decisions. So we were done with that. If this is what's happening on the first day of training, I could only imagine what was going to happen a month down the line. Now, this is also a point where I think what happened, I was growing too big, and I was allowing other people to take care of aspects of the company that generally I did on a daily basis. Get a new account and things like that. I had other people hire, but I would be the one generally in front of everyone signing all the contracts. But if I had other salespeople, then I would send it off to them, let them sign it, get this contract signed, and bring them back into the office. So we picked up this one account, and I let him hire, I let him sign the contract, get everything done with this new account, and the person that he hires for this event, or for this account, ends up getting into 4 accidents. And what I mean 4 accidents involved 4 cars, but it was 2 accidents one morning, and then 1 evening, and then the very next morning he got into 2 other accidents. So 2 separate cases, but involving 4 cars. And it totaled over $10,000 in less than 24 hours. So needless to say, that guy got terminated immediately. We tried to go after him. This guy didn't have any money, and honestly, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him at all, but just bonehead mistakes, and he had excuses for everything. I think one involved a BMW and a Toyota Tundra. The other one involved a Volkswagen Beetle, the new one, and I think it was a Mercedes Benz, and he just did so much damage, and that was it. I had to get rid of the account. I think we were on that account for maybe a month or 2, and I said, you know what? This is bad juju. I didn't trust the vibe. I was done with it. I took control and took over everything again. I'm the only ones that sign the contracts now. Now, here's the thing. We will interview some people, and the valets will give you their best impression, their best foot forward. Excellent. Yes, sir. No, sir. They know everything about the industry. They are trained. They know all of this stuff, and we get so excited about it. So we had this one valet, and I think they got trained by our training officer, or interviewed by their training officer. We came in, and I'm like, okay, it looks like a good fit, and I sat with him probably for 25 minutes just discussing his previous employment and how he felt he would be a good fit with our company. So through everything, I think we were getting him out in the field. He called the day before. He tried to get everything, wanted to make sure he had his uniform. He had directions to the locations where he was going to be training. I was like, okay, this kid looks like he's going to be a phenomenal fit. So everything was said and done. And here's something that we did prematurely. Usually when we train someone, we'll train them 1 or 2 days a week. We trained this guy for 2 days and then already put him on a schedule for 3 more shifts past that because we were presumptuous, assuming this valet was going to be incredible. And we already started putting him on a schedule, assuming he would zoom through training, no problem at all. So it comes to the day of training, and guess what? He doesn't show up. Doesn't call, doesn't show, doesn't text message. We call him, no response. Leave him a message. We text message him, nothing. Call him again and text message him again an hour later, no response. We email him, nothing. Still to this day, we've never heard back from this valet. He is gone, uniform gone, everything gone, and we are pissed. We were shocked. We thought this was like the perfect valet, and he was gone, never heard a word from him ever again. Sometimes in situations like this, I wonder if these people are plants, meaning they come in just to infiltrate, try to get our information, and then take off. But at this point, valet parking is not rocket science, so it's not that we have some proprietary information other valet companies don't. We're all valets. We all do the job pretty much the same exact way. So, but that was one of the weird cases and one of the weird hires that we had. Now, this story was actually quite similar to the last story, in which we had an incredible valet come in. He was recommended by another valet, and he was a bartender from the past. What's good about a bartender, you understand how to deal with customers. That's all you do all day. So valet parking is the same thing. Instead of making drinks, you're parking the cars. And this valet was incredible. For the first week, phenomenal. On work on time, showed up, everything. And this again was around the Christmas time area. So we needed additional valets. We'll put an email out to all the valets. Hey, if you know additional people who would like to work as a valet throughout the season, let us know. Let us get them trained up. This person went through training. Everything was incredible. He worked out in the field. He was doing great. He had great rapport with all the customers. And on week 2, it was pouring rain on a particular Monday. So I actually stopped by the restaurant just to check, make sure everything was okay. Everything was good. The very next day, he didn't show. We're like, well, that's strange. This guy's incredible. He's doing a phenomenal job and everything like that. Didn't answer his phone, didn't whatever. So we had to contact the valet who recommended him and said, hey, have you heard from this person? He said, let me talk to him. So he got through to him and he said he did not know that he had to work in such cold weather. He also didn't know that he had to work in such torrential downpours of rain, even though we have tents as much as possible to try to shade it, but not shade it, but protect it from the rains and the elements. But as a valet, you have to work in a freezing cold. You have to work in the rain. You have to work in the heat. You have to work in all these different seasons, but you know that as a valet. Now, there's beautiful moments wherein it's in the middle of spring and it's awesome, and or it's in the middle of fall and it's absolutely amazing. These are things that you do, but people don't realize when you work in these cold moments, you can actually up your tips by talking to people. And I call them sympathy tips, because they see you out there, you're freezing and you're going to get their car. People appreciate that so much and they tip you in better times like this. So you'll get another 5 or another 10 just for being out there, but still super energetic. So we found out that he didn't like working in the rain, and being a bartender, he never had to deal with the elements. So he went back to his bartending job and we never heard from him again. Now, this last story is completely our fault. We hired this guy, everything was good, we went through this entire procedure and everything looked good with this guy. We put him out in the field, we put him in training, and after his week of training, we're putting him on a schedule. Now, what we didn't do, we didn't check his driving report or his criminal background history for almost 2 weeks. Just because we'll go to the DMV or we'll get it done where we'll take a batch of them, like 5 or 10 at a time, rather than each individual one. So when we finally did pull the record, this guy had assault, he had criminal charges, he had all these different things on his record, and we had to terminate him immediately. He was very upset, and that was our fault. But now, this was a couple of years ago, we now do immediate reports. So we can check immediately. We pay for a monthly program so we can check social security numbers, driver's license numbers, and get the entire history on these valets before we put them out in the field. Now, what's important about this, we have people driving $100,000 cars, and sometimes they may be on a lot with just 1 or 2 valets. So if this guy's a criminal and he has grand theft on his record, and he just takes a brand new Mercedes and takes off, we are responsible. We hired that person. So we have to be extremely careful when we pick up these people. So What do you think about these stories? And on top of that, what do you think of the new microphone? I have the new microphone working. I think it's working a lot better now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.